thank you for tuning in. We will be starting in approximately 1 minute and 23 seconds. We will be starting in approximately 50 seconds. Hi, and thank you for joining me on this early Wednesday afternoon. My name is Wayne from Ascend Custom Designs. I am a small business owner and a part of the xTool Squad program. Now, what is the xTool Squad, you might ask? Well, the xTool Squad is a global network of experienced makers, educators, and small business owners, such as myself. We offer one-on-one demos of the xTool products that we own, and the demos are a mix of online and in person. It differs by the host that you select. So the people that do offer material testing and skill training, so that's an optional extra, so not all hosts will do that. Material testing involves testing customer supplied samples under a number of different parameters to get you perfect results, whereas skill training is essentially a one-on-one masterclass with an xTool Squad member. We will help you skip any learning curve with help from initial setup and maintenance, helping you perfect your projects. So it's very much a hands-on one-on-one, or maybe I've done skill training where it was more than one person. It's very much what you want to get out of it. So if you said to me, Wayne, I'm really comfortable with the software, but the machine scares me, we will concentrate more on that aspect of it. Now, if you want to find out more information about the xTool Squad program and what it means for you, you can follow the link on screen. Alternatively, I will drop a link in the comments, and I'll also quickly just show you how you go about finding a host if you're interested. And like I said, right now, it's a brilliant time I've said it multiple times actually, it's a good time to find a host because it's absolutely free. It costs you nothing. So the way that this works is, in terms of a demo, a one-on-one demo, it's absolutely free. So the skill training and material testing are optional extras that are paid for, but the demos of the products are absolutely free. So the way it works is you find a host, you book a time that's convenient for you based off their availability, and that's it. No credit card information, no payment information. It's as simple as that. So you might be wondering, what do the hosts get out of it? Well, xTool will pay the host. So regardless if you buy a machine or not, you will get a demo and the host will get paid for the time. So it's a fantastic way. I would always advise, where possible, find a host that is local to you, physically see the machine. I know it's not always possible, which is why you have these online demos, which are a fantastic way of doing it. Now, if you're interested in that, if we switch over to Safari, and what I'll do is I'll just hide my camera there. So if you follow the tab along the top, so this is the UK xTool website, and you've got this free product demo. And then you've got in-person, online. So it might be a case of we select here the metal fab, and I go here, Edinburgh, and I go in person. And then if I have a look down, Robert comes up first. So it's a case of clicking on Robert. Hit continue. And now you have Robert's availability. If you want to find out more information about Robert, maybe you can click on his profile just to see. So if we hit back, I can click on his profile there, find out a bit more about it and book that way. But it's as simple as just going through the prompts. And that's it. You can see your details. There's no payment information, confirm booking, and you're done. So it's literally that simple to book a demo of product. If you're interested in booking a metal fab demo, so that's xTool's laser welder, and you can also put it in a CNC machine. So if you're looking at cutting intricate detail, please do check Robert out. He knows all the ins and outs of the metal fab. I know the metal fab on paper. I would love to have one. I do not have a need for it, nor do I have the space in my office for one, but I would absolutely love one. He does wonderful work restoring cars with it, so please do check him out. So if you're interested in the metal fab, hit him up, book a demo. Honestly, you won't be disappointed. And it's that simple. If I was looking for another machine, maybe the F2 Ultra UV, again, it's the same thing. So we've got Martin here, and it's the exact same thing. So same process, different machines. Maybe you want to just book online. So you can decide what's best for you. I know not everyone is in an area where someone is close by. And again, these are real people that run a business or small business. Maybe they have a side job. Maybe they use this as a way to earn additional income. But either way, you can get an honest demo from them. And that's what xTool's offering at the moment, is the ability to have this demo absolutely free. So I highly recommend you check that out. I should also note I've dropped my contact details in the comments. So if you have any problems, if you're watching this after the fact and are struggling to find a host, just let me know where you're located and I'll point you in the right direction. It will be helpful if you just let me know a rough location, so it doesn't have to be postcode. So you could say, I'm from Birmingham, or I'm from Liverpool. I'm looking for an F2 or the F2 Ultra demo. I will find a host that's close to you. I can find a couple if need be. So if you're struggling, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Now, in terms of this workshop, it's just going to cover new product releases and xTool Studio features. Next week, I'm hoping to start demoing the O1 once I get it. I'm in the same boat as everyone else. So the O1's been delayed slightly due to customs. So it's not a conspiracy. Other European countries have started receiving their machines. So it's not a conspiracy. Honestly, they're on their way and I'm in the same boat as everyone else. We just have to be a little bit patient. I know it's hard. xTool have sent out coupons to those affected by the delay in customs. So that's a very nice gesture on xTool's part. So I've ordered extra materials. So hoping to have the O1 next week, but we shall see. In the meantime, we'll cover the xTool Studio software and I'll show you what I'm doing in anticipation for my O1. So it's not delayed me in terms of learning, in terms of doing prototypes, getting costs, and I'll show you what I'm doing even though I don't have the O1. Maybe you're looking at investing in the O1. You can do some simple things just to see if it's feasible from a business point of view. You can see how much it's going to cost in terms of ink for a specific design, how much time it's going to take, and I'll go through all those different things with you. So right now though, the first thing I do want to address is the xTool X1. So the O1 is still not even fresh off the press, and xTool have dropped numerous teasers about their new laser machine and what it might mean. And what I want to do is just address that briefly before jumping into other things. So if you're interested in looking at the X1, there's going to be a technical preview of it tomorrow at 11 p.m. UK time. And what I'll do is I will drop that information into the comments. So I'm not going to be able to make it in person, but I'm going to be watching online on YouTube. There's a couple of links that I've just dropped in the comments. One of them is for Facebook. So if you prefer to watch via Facebook, you can do that. And again, that's live at 11 p.m. UK time tomorrow. So without further ado, if I just show you some information about the X1. So this is their live debut. And again, it's a 3-day event, but they're going to do the technical preview live on Facebook and YouTube. So that's the links. Now, if I show you just a video of the speed of it. So they've dropped some teasers. So I'm going to go through in the order that they dropped them. So I've turned the volume down most of the way, but you can hear some of it working. So I'll be quiet as this plays. And as you can see there, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. xTool's X1 versus the same job, so the same material, same everything, just different machines. 3 minutes and 5 seconds to 1 hour, and 24 minutes and 15 seconds. So it's 27 times faster. So if you're wondering why is it so quick, so the other machine is a gantry-based laser. So that means it moves on an X, Y, and Z axis. And because of that, speed is its limiting factor. But with gantry-based lasers, you get massive work areas. With galvo-based lasers that use a mirror to bounce the laser around the bed, you get rapid speeds, but your limiting factor is the work area. So they have special lenses that have to be made very delicately. And what it does is, imagine that the galvo laser is in a fixed position and it beams the laser to the edge of the bed. It's actually a further distance away. When you do any type of laser engraving, you always want to focus the laser. So the lens is specifically shaped to take that distance into account, but it can only go so far. So your size of your bed, your work area, is a very limiting factor in terms of a galvo laser. Now, xTool have released what's known as, or is going to release, highly anticipated, what's known as a flying galvo. So that is simply a gantry style machine in terms of it has an X and Y axis and it moves, and even a Z axis, I guess. And it has a galvo laser attached to it. So it's a flying galvo. So it has the speed of a galvo laser, but the work area of a gantry-based laser. So this is nothing new in terms of industrial lasers. It's very new in terms of xTool's lasers and business class lasers. So for me to afford a flying gantry-based laser, it's actually astronomical in price. But xTool have used their innovation and created a new machine. And by that I mean, if I show you the next bit, which is just the details, you might think that's not revolutionary, that's not next gen, they've not pushed the barrier there. Like I said, flying gantry lasers already exist. What they have done is, if I show you the next video, and I'm going to mute myself when I play it because I want to hear it, you'll see and we'll talk about it.
For years, different materials meant different lasers. That's why we started with diode laser, then brought CO2, fiber, MOPA, and UV lasers into the desktop world. So every material could get the engraving quality it deserves, but you still needed multiple machines. What if the rules changed? All the best lasers built into one.
So this is official xTool posts. from their Facebook. So I'll drop their official Facebook group actually in the comments. If you're interested in joining that group to find out more information, you can find this exact post. So what defines the next generation of lasers? From diode and CO2 to fiber, MOPA and UV, xTool has kept expanding what desktop lasers can do across more materials and more applications. But more capabilities still meant more machines. What if they could all come together? All the best lasers built into one. So if you're asking what's revolutionary about this X1, this highly anticipated X1, is by the sounds of it, it's looking like a 5-in-1. It's looking like a flying gantry where you can have interchangeable modules. And by that, I mean, it might be a case of I buy the X1 and I just use the diode. But as my business grows, I need the CO2 laser. I need to be able to engrave and cut acrylic. And guess what? I buy that module, I snap it in, and now I have a machine that can do diode or CO2. And again, it might be that I expand further and go, I want to engrave or cut thin metal, and I invest in a MOPA laser head. So this is highly, highly anticipated. I did not expect them to have all these options. I thought maybe it would be a machine that has 2 laser heads, but not interchangeable. So I'm highly anticipating their release. I don't know any more information about this machine than what's publicly available. So please do check out the Facebook page, check out the YouTube link, save it. And again, it's at 11 p.m. tomorrow, and I'm going to be watching. I absolutely cannot wait. I have the F2 Ultra UV. I have the F2. I was looking at buying the F2 Ultra, but again, the limiting factor is that smaller work area. Now I'll be able to increase that work area. So I could be working on big pieces of stainless steel. I could be working on big pieces of wood. So chopping board, for example, you think, we can use the diode laser to do that. Absolutely. But I like using the UV laser. I like how fine of details I get. Maybe I want to engrave on a marble slab. My brother is in the laboring industry, so he does a lot of very delicate work when it comes to laying slabs and things like that. Outdoor work is very, very good. He does some internal work too in terms of installing these delicate pieces of slabs, marble. What I'd love to be able to do is offer him another niche to his area and be able to engrave on these massive slabs. Will I be able to fit it in the bed? I don't know. So I've got so many ideas, so many possible uses. So tradesmen that do very custom jobs, it might be that you engrave some of their work that goes and gets installed in gardens or inside houses. So my mind is absolutely spinning with possibilities with this machine. So please do check it out. So that's one of the new releases. So if we cover more tangible releases, something that we can touch, we can play with. So what we'll do now is we'll cover xTool Studio. So if I jump over to xTool Studio, this is the software. You can download it for free today. I'll drop a comment. I'll drop a link in the comments with the link to the software. So what we'll do is we'll actually do something that's tangible. So I'll do a project, and as I go about doing this project, I'll show you some of the new features that xTool have. So I did a poster on the weekend for someone that passed away. I want to redo another coaster. It went off very well. I engraved the lady's face. So I used AI Make. So with this, I simply clicked on the image. I dropped the image here. You can do it a couple of different ways, but I'll show you some of the ways that I've done it. So you can either upload it directly to AI Make, and by that I mean when you click on AI Make along the side, you can go engrave, and typically I like line engraving. So if you've watched any of my work, you know that I'm a big fan of line engravings, specifically when it comes to wood. With this one, I didn't do a line engraving because I engraved it on marble. So xTool have that hexagon coaster that is half marble, half wood. So I engraved this image and I used the F2 Ultra UV. So here I use the exquisite carving, and when you click on it, you have a prompt appear down below and you're able to select the style. And again, I'm not typing in anything. I'm just selecting the results that I want. So I selected classical portrait, and you can upload it. So it's asking to upload the image. So you can see here, reinterpret the uploaded picture as a classical portrait, grayscale, engraving, rendering. So it's done all the hard work for you. So if you're new to laser engraving and want results from day one, you don't have to use third-party AI programs. This is all in a single pane of glass. So this is one of the features, one of the reasons why I am a big supporter of xTool, is it allows me to have a very fast workflow, one that isn't cluttered by multiple windows, multiple processes. I can do everything that I need to do within one piece of software. And that same piece of software that I use for my laser engravers day in, day out, I'll use for my O1 UV printer when it comes. In fact, I've been testing out the O1 even though I don't have it here in the office, and I'll show you that a little later. So if I grab a piece of material, I think I have the coasters in here. This is where it turns out that they go. And what I'm going to do is just place it in the bed of the F2. And what I'll do is up here, we can see that I am connected. And what I'll do is I will zoom over to the F2 Ultra, and I will, there we go. See if I can zoom in a bit more. There we go. That's as far in as we can go. So down below, you can see the coaster that is in the machine. If I just show you that full screen, and you can see a dot. So if I just move around, what I'm going to do is just purposely zoom out. So I want you to be able to see two distinct dots. So you can see a red dot and a blue dot. Now, in order for the laser to give the ideal engrave, you want to focus the laser. So the way that you focus the laser is super easy. You can either do it manually, and what you want to do is make it so the red dot and the blue dot intersect, or you can do it through xTool's software. So this software here, it's automatically, as I've moved it out of focus, it's taken a picture. So that's a new feature. As you manually increase or decrease the focus, it will take a new picture. So that's brand new in xTool Studio version 1.8.22, which is the version that I'm using. If I was to show you that, about 1.8.22. Now, I'm going to click on this auto measure, and what this will do, if I show you there, when I click on this, it's gone dark, and it will automatically find the correct focus. Then it will take a picture, and there we go, we're done. So what I'm going to do here is engrave this again. And again, this was something that I created from this. You can see its interpretation. And again, this is another example of one of her cats. It's absolutely fantastic, some of the detail that you get. So I'm going to do this for a friend, and I'm going to engrave the cat on the back. So I'll just do this to begin with, and I'll probably finish off the back at a later date. But you can see the settings are set here. It's set to the correct settings. And I've done other ones of these. So in fact, what we'll do is I'm going to switch that up, and in fact, you know what, we'll do it. I don't know how, I can't remember how long it takes, but if we frame it out, I'm just going to go over to the machine. So you can see there's an outline, or you can see somewhat of an outline. And what I'm going to do is just do that. It's that simple. So what I've done is I've just moved the poster slightly. So if we update the image, because we didn't touch the focus, that is literally where it's going to engrave. And what I'll do is I'm just going to confirm I got the settings right. I think it is. I don't have it to hand. These are the settings I use. So these aren't the stock settings, but I'm going to go with them. And it's going to take 1 minute, 59 seconds. I should note I have this being vented outside. So what I have to do now in order to start it, I simply press the button that's on the touchpad that's connected to the machine, and it is engraving now in real time. So this is going to come out absolutely fantastic. If I zoom in or make this bigger so you can see, and again, this is real time. So this is 2 minutes. And if you're wondering, what are we engraving? This is what we're engraving. I can minimize this while it's working, and I can go, do you know what? Let's do some stuff on the F2. It's connected to the last machine I was working on, which was the O1. I don't have, it's not connected, as you can see. These are the machines I have here in the office. So we switch to the F2. The F2 has kicked into life. And I can do some work on the F2. I can go, do you know what? That is framing on the F2. It's looking fantastic. So I can work and do stuff. I can manage multiple lasers while another laser is working. And that's another reason why I love xTool. It's very easy. I don't have to have multiple computers. I can see what's going on. 16 seconds. Go back over here. It's taking me back into here. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. So I'm going to just walk back over. And you can have a look and tell me what you think. If I show you this, and in fact, if we go this one, and I will switch out. So what do you think? And this is like a marble-like surface. So 2 minutes to do this. And I could have went a bit darker. So I've been tweaking the settings that I like. So this was done on So it's an image, and this was done with Jarvis. So typically speaking, I use either Jarvis or Stucky and Grayscale. So they all have slightly different effects. With the previous one, I used Grayscale and was able to make certain areas more darker to define it, because this is a white material on the background, and obviously when you're engraving, you got white here. So it's kind of trial, not trial and error, so to speak, but trial to see what gives you the best results. So I do need to do some further testing into the other types of algorithm just to see what gives me the best results for marble. So I'll leave that there. What we'll do is we'll have a look at Atom. So I showed Atom off last week. What is Atom, you might be saying? Atom, or Atom Projects as it's known in xTool Studio. So when you download the software, you have it on the top. This is xTool's collaboration platform. So you can collaborate, or maybe you don't need to collaborate, you just want to download. You're a new user and you want to get engraving. So it could be that, you know what, I like this wooden frame, I have the M2, I have the S1, I want to cut it out. And guess what? You're able to do so. And it's as simple as that. So I've clicked on it, it's opened up on the M1. I can say, do you know what? I don't have the M1. You can see here the settings are set for the M1, 90 power, 10 speed. If I switch this up and connect to the M2, click on it again, 100 power, 4 speed. So you can see it changes the settings depending on the machine, and more specifically depends on the diode laser or the laser module attached. So in the case of the M2, if I had the 20 watts, so you can see up here, I have the 10 watt. If I had the 20 watt installed, it would show different results. So if I click on this, you can see here, they've used xTool Select Material. So what is xTool Select Material, you might be saying? So xTool Select Material is just a fancy way of saying it's xTool's material that they sell on their store. And they have all the settings perfected for it, so you get results from day one. xTool do have a lot of third-party parameters in here. So I've used third-party plywood, and I've used these parameters, and they get you in the ballpark. And you can change them slightly based off images. So you can see here, again, we've selected the plywood. And if we have a look at an engrave, so we look, so that's cut. If we click on somewhere where maybe it's engraved, so here is engraved. So this is an image in this case, so it doesn't show it. So that wasn't a very good example. But if I was to drop an asset, maybe if I can find an asset that I've got here in my folder, if I have a look at my assets, so I'm going to have a look, and this is one that I've done before. So this is an image, and this is a good moment to show you something. And this same thing is an SVG. So the image here is an image. So that black elephant, that's an image. And we know that because if we go to this layer, you've got all the different things that are on here. So if we click on that, you can see it's clicked. And along here, it's an image. And that matters because when we was talking about the image that I just did, so of the lady who passed away, that is an image. You can see here, image, and you have different bitmap modes, the way that you can engrave it. Now, with the file that I dropped on, one of them is an image. So this one here, an image, and this one here is an SVG. So with an SVG, I can change the layers. So red typically means cut to me. I can change it to blue. This, I don't have that option. I can change it to pink, but it doesn't change. And that's not to say that's the color it will come out. This is just for visualization purposes. So here, when I look on the bed, anything that's red to me is a cut. I can know in the top of my head, it's going to cut this out, it's going to cut that out, it's going to cut that out, it's going to cut this out. And what's in black, it could be an engrave or it could be a score. So I would look at it. Now, it goes more than that. So an SVG is a scalable vector graphic. If you have used vinyl plotters or cutters, you'd be exposed to SVGs. They're infinitely scalable. If you was to open them up in a notepad, say, you'd see code. So it's just numbers, points, and references. And you can scale this infinitely without any pixelization. So there's no pixels in this image, whereas there's pixels in this file here. And I shouldn't call this an image. This is a vector graphic, and this is an image. Where possible, I would always say use an SVG. You have more granular control. And by that, if I wanted to engrave cat in one way, but the butterfly in another, I wouldn't be able to do it very easily with this here because this is an image. With this one, I could ungroup it and it might have many groups. So I've ungrouped it to the max, and you can see here, if I was to duplicate this now, make this one that color, maybe I want to just the butterfly. I'm getting rid of all the different elements. Now I'm just going to group that back up. You can see here, I grouped that. This one's all grouped wrong. So there we go, that's gone. And it could be, while I move that, I group all this back up. So it's all in its own group. And when you group things, it just means they're moved together. So if I had ungrouped that and moved it, maybe the eyes will stay where they are. But what this means now is I can engrave this one specific way and this in another. So if I was to get rid of all of this and we was to move our attention onto this cat and I shrink it down so it fits on the bed, maybe I shrink it down further and I go, do you know what? This cat, it would be nice if we cut it out. Or it might be, do you know what? An engrave is fine. Maybe we cut out this. So we engrave that and cut that out. If we hit preview, so we've got it set to wood at the moment, there's no wood in there. Now, if we hit the preview, it will show you what that looks like. So it's preparing the preview. So this is a new feature in xTool Studio 1.8.22. I highly recommend you update it. So we can see that and we can see how it's broken out. So if we just hit the top part, that shows you the pieces that come out. The middle part, that's the middle element, and then the bottom would be the cutout. So it really depends on how complex cut is, but you could just have a top and a bottom. So if it was a simple circle, for example, you could have a top and a bottom. Now, if I cancel out that and go, do you know what, I don't want that. Actually, I wanted it to engrave. But what I want to do is I want to select a different item. Maybe I want something different. I'm going to look at some different wood. So if we go here, and it could be maybe we're looking at walnut. So I've applied walnut. When I click on the cat, I can say, do you know what? I want it to be quite light. We'll have this one. Whereas I want all the focus to be on butterfly. So I've selected the butterfly and I go on that one. So now we have two different parameters for two different pieces of the same thing that we're going to engrave. If I hit this preview button, that will reflect how it will look. So now you'll see the cat and it'll look engraved with a light engraving, and the butterfly will be darker. So you can see there. So that's a very nuanced example. If I select a lighter material, so again, if we go along and we go again wood, and I go pine wood, so these wooden slices, I have some here in the office. I've been saving them for the UV printer. Again, if we click on this and I go, I want a light version for that, and I want a darker version, much darker engrave for the butterfly. And again, preview, it will do a preview of this. And this doesn't work for every single type of material. They've been adding it over the months. So when I've previously used this, I've done business cards and slate. So this is a better example. You can see the color difference. So you get a better idea of how your engrave's going to look. So that's just one of many, many new features that xTool's added. I covered last week the bulk import. So maybe you're going to do 3 or 4 of these. So let's just say you have an order for a slate coaster and you need to do 4 of these, but they have 4 different names. So we simply select the material. So in this case, I type in rock. We've got here, it tells you that there's references for it. So I'm going to hit apply. Now we have it. If we just hit preview here, just see how it looks. I've not previewed slate before on the new version, so I'm intrigued as how it looks. I've used it on the prior version, so it's not. Yeah, it says here, so that's just its default material. If I change this, I think the rock that I used to have that had the preview was this. Might be wrong. Oh, I'm jumping ahead of the game there, hitting process. So I hit preview again. Let's just see how this looks. So xTool are adding materials to preview as time goes on. Nope, it's the same one. So if I was to select that anyway, you can see here how it's estimated to look based off the settings for the M2 10 watt. And as I was saying, we could add a name. Maybe we want to add a name. So I'm just going to put name here. And what I'll do is I will make that green. I will set it to engrave because we want it. And what I'll do is I'll make that name bigger. I'm going to group these 2 elements together. So you can either right click and group, or you can select them and group here. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want to select everything now, so that name is not part of the group. But if I was to roughly get it where I want it, I'm then just going to align it central. So that is going to be in the center now. So you might be saying, cool. If we go to the tools, and I've got this variable design. So you got the variable things or the various elements on the screen. Now, if I click on this and click add variable, I'm just going to put name here, underscore there, name and variable. I'm going to leave this fill method as fixed. If I just show you the difference, if I hover over this, you can see as you type, the text box gets bigger. I want it in a very specific area. So you can see on the one that we have, as you type, it doesn't expand, the text just gets smaller. So that's the one that we want. And I can say Wayne 20, that's my coupon code. I'm very bad at doing this. I should probably drop it in the comments, but if you are looking for a discount, you can use that coupon code, Wayne 20. It's a stackable coupon code and works with the O1. It doesn't work with the Wonderpress, but it works with xTool printers as well as lasers. So if you're looking for a discount, an additional discount on top of any sales, that's the code you want to use. If you want a demo, please do reach out to me. Again, if you're looking for someone specifically in an area that you're in, I will point you in the right direction. Now, if we continue on, so we've got Wayne 20, maybe we have an Adam, and maybe we have Fred and Laura. So, oh, helps if I, there we go. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 people, hit confirm. So you can see here it says name underscore var1. So if I was to just select this and move that over here, so we could do 4 coasters in the M2. It does have the work area. So if I was to zoom over to the M2, it does have that work area that will fit 4 coasters quite easily. So if we do that, and what I'll do is I'm just going to duplicate everything. So you can right click, copy, paste. I use the shortcut Command D on the Mac. And you can see now it says here name underscore var, VAR 2. And again, if I was to duplicate both of them, what we'll do is we'll move these up. I probably should have them in the right sizes. So slate coaster is, if I delete that, about 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So these are too big. So if I do 95, there we go. Whoop. Do the biggest dimension is 95. There we go. Now these will fit on a slate coaster. And now have them spaced out a little bit. If we hit the preview, you can see it's done it. So if I hit process, Wayne 20, Adam, Fred, Laura. And again, so this is going to take 39 minutes. You might think that is a long time. And again, that's because it's a gantry-based laser. Now, you might say, can we do this on the F2? So if I go over to my F2, so I had it open on another tab. At the moment, there's just wood in there. If I delete that out, in fact, if I select the wood, so plywood, how would it look? How would it come out? If I copy and paste this, how would it come out? So I copy and pasted it. Copy. Paste. So it pasted the name, but it didn't paste the, if I delete all that actually and just paste it back in once, there we go. So we would have to do this again. So it doesn't paste that added stuff that we did. So we would go about doing it again. So we go variable design. I click on the name because that's the thing that I want to change. I want everything else exactly the way it is. Add variable. And again, I'm just going to go name underscore VAR for variable. And here I'll have Wayne 20. We'll have Adam, Fred, and Laura, I think it was. And I could have these ready to go. So even though I can only engrave one at a time. And what I'll do is I'll enable the auto mode on my F2. So we switch this over now to the F2. I'm going to put this here. It's automatically focusing. So it's getting the laser the correct distance from the material. It's going to take a picture. And I've still not put it in right. And you can see here, no material detected. I've selected the material that I want. What I'm going to do here is select all of that. I want to do a polygon outline. I'm going to turn auto mode off because I'm going to be opening and closing the lid, and I don't want it to keep focusing. So if I hit frame, I just want you to see the frame in real time. And what I simply do is I align it the way that I want it. Typically speaking, I would put in this L bracket. So this comes with the xTool F2. It's absolutely fantastic. You can get jigs typically for material, specific types of material, say dog tags. So I'm just going to even that out so it's there. If I just stop framing, I take a new picture. What I'm going to do is select that again and hit the framing button. And what I'm going to do is just move this around until I like it. So I like where it is. I'm happy with it. And again, if I full screen this just so you can see it, this is how it looks. So you might think, cool, again, nothing impressive. Now, if I was to switch back, what we will do is we will hit process. So I'm going to close this. I'm not wearing my safety glasses. You can see 4 minutes and 25 seconds. So the other one, if I go back, so we call it 5 minutes. To do 4, was going to take 30, we'll call it, let's just round it down, 35 minutes. So if we count out 5 minutes each one, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So you got 7 that we could do in the same amount of time as 4. And we could speed things up if we wanted. We could go, do you know what, more power, more speed, and we could find maybe better settings. But these are typically the recommended settings. So I'm going to leave them as they are. I'm going to hit process, and we're just going to see how this turns out. So what I have to do is just hit the button on the side of the machine. You can see exactly how it's coming out. So while that is working away, I did this exact process on the F2 Ultra UV probably a month or so back, live on stream. And I did it in conjunction with the F2. So I used the F2 for one aspect, and I used the F2 Ultra UV for another. So if I just make this full screen, I'm going to switch over briefly to different camera, just so you can see. So this was all done on the diode laser of the F2, whereas this was done after the fact on the F2 Ultra UV. I was able to get a very specific reaction from the slate, and it's gone gold, and you can feel it's like a raised texture. Absolutely beautiful to see in person, but this is something different. This is what differentiates my coasters from other people's coasters. I can do all the delicate details. So this is my dog's footprint. But what if I did all of that and then engraved the middle bits to make it go gold? So I can repeat this. This is repeatable. It's not just a one-off. Again, this is another one I did with a wasp. And I was able to do this because I had 2 different machines. but also because this was an SVG file, so I was able to break up the image, and just how I showed you earlier, and I was able to just engrave this and not this. So as you can see, it's engraving away. Now, if we were to have a look, it's going to take 2 minutes, give or take, left. Now, you might be saying, I have this right behind me. How am I venting it? So let me talk just a little bit about that. I can't smell a single thing right now. So the F2 Air Purifier Go is attached to the back. So this is xTool's solution, especially if you're taking this out crafting. So I take my F2 out. When I have to take the air purifier. So if I was to show you the air purifier, it's over there, that white box. If I was to just zoom in just a little bit, you can see it's about the size of the F2, and it has a hose attached to the back. It has its own power supply, and you have to attach it. It's actually quite a novel solution. I was happy with it. I did not know I needed the Air Purifier Go. So xTool released the Air Purifier Go. As soon as I saw it in the store, I bought it. It connects directly to the back, and it uses one single power supply. So the power that powers the F2 also powers the Air Purifier Go. And it's a wonderful solution. It's all attached. I can still pick it up. It's added some weight to it, but it's still very, very portable. And it's reduced the footprint. And it's very, very effective because, like I said, I can't smell it. And it's literally just here. I can touch it. So this is me touching the machine. And I can't smell anything. I have air quality monitors in the office, and none of them have gone off yet. So I'll leave that for you to decide if it's worth it or not. So this is finished, and I know it's finished because I can see the red dots. I can still hear the machine. I don't know how well you can hear it, but I can hear the air purifier. It's now cranked down. So when the air purifier is going, it is actually quite loud. I would say the air purifier for the Go is louder than the air purifier, the big version. But it's very, very effective. It's got a very meaty, very heavy filter on the back that was much heavier than I anticipated. So if I pick this up now, that looks absolutely fantastic. So if I just cut over to here and just show you. And that is done with the diode. And I can physically feel where it's taken material out. What I would love to do is use the UV printer and do a resin, a UV fill of this. And that's where that print and cut come in. I've seen some videos officially from xTool of coins being engraved, physically engraved, so material being taken out and then being filled with the UV printer after the fact because of the accuracy of the O1. So that is just an example of one of many things that you can do. So I said earlier that you could be testing out the O1. So if we go and we select a new project, it will automatically connect to the F2. So it automatically connects to the last laser that you used. So up here, if I just make this full screen and get rid of everything else, if you select this switch device, device library, O1. So again, it's switch, then you've got this device library, O1. Now, I have been testing out. So if we go to the home screen, you can see here the A3 template. And if I just open this up, So this one is actually, if you're wondering why there's two versions, you can see a cloud icon next to this, no cloud icon next to that. So this one's stored locally. This one is stored in the cloud, or this one here is stored in the cloud. So if you go to MySpace, you can see what is stored there. So projects, assets. So you have various things that you can store in the cloud. So if I go over to here, you can just see some of the things that I've done. So I was seeing, first off, how many Christmas baubles can I fit on the bed on the largest size, which is 33 centimeters by 42 centimeters. So I got A3 size here. Won't bore you with the details, but I just made cutouts to that are the right size for prints that I want to do. So I've got 3-inch baubles, or 76 centimeters. And I want to see how much ink it uses. So how much do you think it would cost to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? If I hit process, it only shows 1. And if you're wondering why that is, if I select them, I'm going to turn the output on. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hit process. And this ink mode is all color. Right, it's a mix ink mode. Mixed ink mode. So here I've selected different details. So here I've got color, white, color. And just to show you what that does. So the topmost one is color, white, color. So this is a preview. I've done different settings for different ones just to see. Now, if I look on the back, you can see all here, these are all white because it's printed a white layer first and then the color on top. This is a clear acrylic bauble. So on the one side, you'll see nothing. Now, if I wanted the same image on both sides, I'll do color, white, color, which is this one. And I could go, do you know what? Let's have a look. Let's ignore all the rest. Let's just do a time study. I'm going to turn that off. So this is on. This is color, white, color. And you can see it there. If I hit process, it's going to take 8 minutes and 14 seconds. In terms of ink, it's going to use, let's just call it 3.5p's worth of ink. Now, so 3.5p, 8 minutes. Now let's just do a normal white and color process. So 3.5p, 8 minutes. It's dropped it down to 5 minutes and 2.7p. So the cost is negligible. The time, I mean, it really depends on how strapped for time you are. Obviously, that's an additional 3 minutes, call it. And if you're doing the amount that I'm doing here, that can add up. So we got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So 20 minutes or 20 items for each minute. So we got 3 minutes. So that's an extra hour of printing if we add the color, white color, but it looks so much better. And then on this one, you can see I've added a matte varnish. So I've done a white color varnish. And again, you can do this today. You're not limited by not having the O1. You might want to say, you know what, I need to investigate. I do printing at the moment. Maybe you own a Cricut machine and you do your print and cut and are looking to get into laser engraving. Maybe you have added an xTool laser to your arsenal, but want to do more physical printing and get the print quality that this machine is capable of. xTool have you covered. So you could download that software today if you don't already have it, and you can have a play with it just how I am. In terms of the cost settings, so I've been asked some questions about that. When you hit process, you can enter in your own cost. So when I hit on this cost setting, I've selected Great British Pounds because that's my currency, and I've just rounded up the price off the xTool website, or give or take. So you can enter in whatever cost you want, and that could be the cost including your labor. I don't know. You can do it however you want to do it, but I've just put in xTool's retail price plus a little bit. So when I see that figure there, and I've done that to account for waste. So I come from a manufacturing background where 10% waste is very normal. So if you're getting 10% waste, that's very normal from a manufacturing point of view. Obviously, I prefer to keep my waste even lower than that. But you have this ability, like I said, to test out not just the UV machine, but the various machines. So honestly, I can't implore you enough. If you're considering getting an xTool device, whether it be a laser or printer, check this software out, download it. And that, I've not even covered the xTool Academy. I usually always cover it. I've been trying to do more hands-on things. So xTool Academy, hands-on resources. I can go, do you know what? Let's talk about the M2. And I can click on a video specifically for the M2. It gives you all the different things, what it can't do. Some of it is text-based. So in this case, a lot of this is text-based. And you could go, do you know what? What about if I want some tips? You got video. So this is official xTool resources. And xTool are continually adding new things, new content to the Academy. It could be that I go under general and I look at some of the stuff Paul has made. So the start and scale your laser business. Absolutely fantastic advice. And again, absolutely free. This software will only work with xTool lasers, but you can download this today. You can go through all these different things before you buy, or maybe you're waiting for your O1 to arrive like I am. You can honestly get on with stuff. It will slow you. Not having the machine just means you can't make end product, but it doesn't mean I can't design ready for when the machine comes, so I can hit the ground running. A lot of people, when they reach out to me and they're ready to purchase a laser, one of the first questions I ask them is, what are you going to do when you get the laser? And a lot of them will say, you know, I'll unbox it and then I'll have a play. And I always say, what are you going to physically, you know, what product are you going to make? I'll figure that out. Why not figure it out now? Use the software, import what you've got. Maybe you're coming from an industry where you use PNGs, in which case printing will be fine, but engraving, not so much. You want to use SVGs where you can. So that's just some food for thought. That's all the time I have for today. I'll be online again tomorrow actually. So in fact, if I drop in the comments when I'm next online, and I'll drop in my contact information too. So if you have any questions, please do reach out. So I'm online tomorrow, so Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So the 27th, 28th and 29th. Hopefully on the 28th, so on the Friday morning, I'm going to be tired because I'm going to be up very, very late watching the reveal, the tech specs of the X1. So I can't wait for that. And again, if you've missed it, please do look in the comments, check that out. It's honestly very, very good. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be online again.